The next thing we're going to be working on is we're going to try to make our way in to be able to pull the supercharger so we can do a supercharger oil change. The car is already pulled down into service mode, and we're going to be pulling it down even further. If you'd like to see more of that information, we'll have you check out the previous video. And other than that, let's get to it. So it appears something's been leaking for a while. That's the brand new oil pan we just put on. And the only reason it's clean down there is because I cleaned it. But I think this O-ring for the crank sensor, crank sensor has been leaking, and I think something else is too up top. We're gonna find out. Brand new oil pan, not looking so new no more. Gravity. Oh, the lid went in too, and then it jumped back out. We're gonna do the O-ring on the crankshaft's position sensor because it has clearly been leaking. Here you go. No, do it. Weeble. And he's out. Kinda. Oh, God. Good thing I cleaned everything. Clean that too. Where did it go? It's so dirty I can't even tell the condition of the O-ring. It's not flat, but it's not round anymore either. You see the angle on it? It's like... Oh, and very loose. It should not be loose. Okay. Now I need that stupid little pick. I'm gonna pick the O-ring off. Crunchy. got crunchies underneath it. Wow. Weak, weak, weak. Seems to have a little flexibility to it. I'll clean that up a little more. It's just a Hall effect sensor, so this stuff's not going to get inside it.
What is a Hall effect sensor?
Named for the American physicist Edwin Hall, a Hall effect sensor is a non-contact sensor used to detect changes in a magnetic field. They can be used to determine proximity, speed, or displacement of a mechanical system. Let's talk about how it works. First, an electric current flows through the sensor. The electrons will move in a straight line. When the sensor encounters a magnetic field, the Lorentz force will cause the electrons to deviate and bend towards one side. This difference in electrons will create a small voltage, which can be measured to determine many factors of the system.
Whoa, 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 whoa! So what are we doing?
So I'm going to put this O-ring on the sensor, and then I'm going to take just a touch of that motor oil and put it on the O-ring so that it doesn't get bound up or hurt as it goes in, and it makes a good seal. Just a little dab of motor oil on my finger, wipe it on the O-ring, and then wipe it off my finger, and we put this guy back in. Rawr.
You know what would be fun to do? Get an old Mini and put one of these engines in it.
Like the original Mini?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it would fit. Alright. That is the crankshaft position sensor O-ring replaced.
Turn it off.
Oh.
Alright, so the next step in the process to get the supercharger out is we need to get the alternator out. Three 10mm bolts is all that holds the alternator in place. Off there, put the hook around the metal, hold the alternator. Alright, so to take the dipstick off, which is the next step in the procedure, is two 13mm bolts. There's one down here, it's hard to see, and one up here. You can actually have the dipstick out of the tube or in the tube, doesn't really matter. Give it a little wiggle as you come up. Well, maybe it does matter. No. So the procedure says you have to... that tube's in the way. Comes out from right here. This is coolant hose. Oh boy. Gonna need a little convincing. There we go. That's the water pump right there. That gray hose is attached to the back of the tube we're trying to get out. I think to get to it, we have to take the upper radiator hose off right there. Which is fine, I mean, what's it gonna do, leak a little antifreeze? Turn. Oh. Guess whose car is getting the hose down?
So to answer the question, is it going to just spray more coolant out? The answer is yes.
A little bit. There's so many little connections, like the water pump, it's got a hose on the back of it down there. It's gonna have to come off before the turbocharger will come out, or supercharger will come out. How do you get to those clamps? Oh, never mind. I'm okay. That'll be the one that's going to come off the water pump.
That one right there.
And it's leaking a little bit of antifreeze too. That one might not pop off till we actually pull the whole thing out though.
Well, it's loosened now.
Yeah, at least it's ready. If you mess with this hose, make sure when you put it back, this bleed screw is pointing up.
Yeah, or
not
else
against the housing.
Yeah, or else that will happen.
And you won't be able to purge all the air out of the system.
No place here.
That's that breather. That's that breather broken.
Well,
not new.
We thought this was new, but then when we pulled it up, it just straight up snapped off. So, yeah, I need new hoses. So,
Be careful.
yeah, be careful.
Haha! Stuck hose or not, it's off. I don't think that gasket's any good anymore. Now that we have this hose out of the way, we can pull the dipstick out. Set that aside. So I loosened the 16 up with a wrench off camera because it took like 10 minutes. Alright, we're going in with a ratcheting pin. In the future, plan ahead. Alright, so we're continuing working on the supercharger right now. I'm going to go ahead and take off this top, I don't know, plenum, air tube, whatever you want to call it, because there's a new gasket for that. And I think it'll be probably a little easier to manhandle with it off of there. Those are 4 10mm bolts. We're gonna zip those off now. Since we have this open, we might as well inspect the impellers. Looking down through this triangle here, you are looking at the actual blades that do the spinning. Well, it's a little bit of nicks here and there, but could be worse. All right, well, we'll get our new gasket and put that on there after. All right, now we're gonna take off the 3 bolts that hold the water pump in place. Here, here, and here. All right, we're gonna start on the back side here. I believe this is a 4mm for the drill, for the fill hole. I'm just gonna stand it up while I do this part. I already cleaned it off so there's no chunkies or anything to fall in there. Got our little drain plug out. Oh, she looks pretty clean. That's good. Let's see if I can get you to look over there. That's about it from the back side. All right, stay. All right, I don't have any fancy measuring devices, and the rear is only supposed to have about 1.4 ounces, so I'm going to put 1.5 ounces in here because some of it's going to stay behind. You know how that works. That's 1. That's about 0.5. Okay, put the cap back on. Ooh, get in there. And now we will carefully pour this in there. Ooh, I better not stand this up. I'm not shaking, you're shaking. Can you grab me that little Allen head over there with the bolt on it?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Oh, don't fall. I need that ratchet too, sorry. We will tighten this to 1 ooga-dooga. There we go. Go. All right, we'll clean that off. We can put the water pump back on, but we're not putting the water pump on until we're done with the front. Next. All right, and then the bleed slash fill, whatever slash whatever is right here on the front. Drain fill. Blah. It's looking kind of rough too. It's like somebody's been using power tools or something. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, I gotta find something else to fit in there. Alright, I was able to hammer that little Allen wrench in there, whatever you want to call it. So hopefully we can get this oil change done. We've had a lightning storm and have no power, so here we go. Nope. Okay, so that didn't work. Hey, broke it loose. Here we go. Okay. Well, let's just see if we can let that drain for a bit. Don't fall in there, please. Just stay. Alright, so the front is supposed to get 4.9 ounces. Oop. Oh, God damn it. Good job. Well, luckily I still have a little bit left. Making messes. That'll do it. Alright. Gotta clean this up. And call the supercharger done. For now, because we're gonna have to end up replacing this drain slash fill plug. Okay. Alright, this is how the new top gasket's gonna sit. It actually has top stamped in it right there in the center of the screen. I got a little bent up, so gotta make sure it sits down on there right, but I don't have enough hands for this, so y'all are gonna have to bear with me. Look at that, it's a little better. I cleaned this thing out too because it was nasty. let that drip dry. I'll put the water pump on. Okay, water pump. Find the bolts. Oh, it's so dark. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's pretty simple. You've got, this is what drives the water pump, and it's got something that looks just like that on the back end of it. You just need to make sure they mesh in together. These ears go into these grooves. And then once you get that, it should wiggle right into place. And you can put your 3 bolts in. You want to make sure your water outlet is, if it's sitting here like this, the water outlet that goes into the block needs to go that way. I'm going to run these down, then we'll check the torque specs on the water pump and the top of the plenum there. Alright, so I pulled these back out and I put blue Loctite on them. And these 4 specifically are supposed to be torqued to 18 foot-pounds. So that is what we are doing now. Alright, now those should not be coming back apart again, unless we want them to. Well guys, this extended version ended up being even more extended than I thought it would be. So, unfortunately I gotta break it into 2 parts. So this is the end of part 2. And I'm also going to make a much shorter one that's just the oil change on the supercharger. So we'll get that one out soon as well. Till next time, take care. I love you.